Alright, the purpose of today's lesson is going to be to start introducing us to loops, for loops and while loops, through the understanding of arithmetic and geometric sequences. Now, arithmetic sequences are sequences where each term adds or subtracts the same amount each time. And so, if we have an first term a sub 1, and the number of terms n, and the common difference, which is what you're adding or subtracting each time, then any term, the nth term, is given by this formula. And so it turns out that for loops are really good for doing, creating these types of sequences. So what we have here is the basic structure of a for loop. And the nice about for loops, and the imperative thing, is that you have to know where you're going to end. So that's the difference between for loops, which is what we're going to talk about now, and while loops later, is that you have to know how many times you want these statements to execute. If you want to give this a little practice, I want you to go ahead and create a new program called forprac. Type in these 3 lines, and let's see what it will do. Alright, hopefully what you saw is that it will print out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We're going to look at a little bit of a tougher problem here. We're going to create a program that will take the first term, the common difference, and the number of terms that you want, and it will generate that sequence for you. So I'm going to create a new program, and I will call it, let's just call it for arith. Try that again. F-O-R-A-R-I-T-H. For arith. And we're going to do our first 3 lines, clear home. We are going to put our name on it. So we're going to display our name. By the Math Prophet. And then I'm going to pause it. And as always, because sometimes when we use pause it creates confusion to the user, we're going to tell the user to press enter. Alright. Now we need some input from the user. We need A1, D, and the number of terms. So we go to program. We're going to input A1, and then I'm going to put equals. If you remember the equals under the test command, so I'm going to go equals, and then I'm going to put a question mark. And remember, I need to store that somewhere. I'm going to store that in A. Then I'm going to ask for D. And if you remember from the notes that I put up, D is the common difference. I'm going to put common difference, diff. And for simplicity's sake, of course, I'm going to store that in D. I'm not being creative here. I just know that I have A sub 1, I have D, and then I'm going to ask for N. I'm going to have them input the number of terms that they want. Num terms, question mark, and I'm going to be super clever again, and I'm going to store that in the N. Now I have everything I need from the user. Now I need to use a for loop. Now remember, the syntax for a for loop is I need my counting variable. Now I'm going to use I. I is commonly used in computer programming for setting up increments. I'm going to start at the first term, and if you remember, the last term that I'm going to ask for here is n. So I choose alpha n. So it will run this loop n times. And so what is it going to do? We're going to have it display, program display. What do I want it to display? I want it to display this term here. So display A, which is A1, plus, now n is what we're going up to, but in this case it's the increment counter I minus 1 times D. So it will display that, and now we're going to end our loop. So we have an end there. Now, let's think about this. When it starts out, I will start out at 1. 1 minus 1 is 0. 0 times D is 0. So the first term is just A, and we know that because A sub 1 is what we're given. When it goes to 2, 2 minus 1 is 1. It'll give 1 times D plus A, and it will display that. Let's go ahead and run this program, our new program, for arith. Now we'll run it for 5, 3, and 5 terms. So it starts out at 5, and is it increasing by 3? 5 plus 3 is 8. 8 plus 3 is 11. 11 plus 3 is 14. 14 plus 3 is 17. So it's going up by 3s. It starts at 5, and it gives us 5 terms. Let's see if it works for our other one here. Here I'm starting at 30, and it should count down by 2. So I'm going to put negative 2 in, and 5. So here I have 30, 28, 26, 24, 22, 5 terms going down by 2 starting at 30. That is how you program arithmetic sequences into the calculator. The next lesson I'm going to do is geometric sequences, but eventually I'm going to leave that to you to start. So that concludes the first for loop lesson around sequences.